Alright, hello and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, please do subscribe. Today, we are going to be reviewing our Rivian R1S. We've driven it 5,000 miles now. I'm taking it up for another little ski day, and we've done several big road trips now, including the drive back from Rivian's factory in Normal, Illinois, all the way back to New Jersey, and then another one up and back to Stowe, Vermont. We've also taken the kids up to Okemo, Vermont. So we spent quite a lot of time with this car, and we're getting to know it really well. And I wanted to share with you all the things I love about it, some of the things that I think that they could look to improve in a refresh and in upcoming models. And we'll talk about all the things that make Rivian Rivian and how this car holds up to some of the competition. So you don't want to miss any of that. Come along and let's drive. Alright, this is our Rivian R1S, and our configuration here is the quad motor large battery pack version, which is basically like the initial one that they launched and the one that was first made available. In the meantime, there are a couple of other configurations, so you have choices in terms of the motors and the batteries. So there's also a dual motor version, which has a single motor for the front axle and a single motor for the rear one, whereas this quad one has basically got a motor for each of the wheels. This one, you also have options for the battery pack. So the large battery pack here results in about 310 to 320, depending on like your driving mode and kind of other conditions of range. And above that, they have a max pack, which adds another 80 miles of range. And then below it, they actually just launched the Standard and Standard Plus ones, which have quite a bit less range, like in the 200s, low 200s for the Standard and mid 200s for the Standard Plus. So you actually have lots of different options now in terms of like pricing, your battery pack, and the motor configuration. But this is the first one that came out. This is the Adventure package. We were a little bit late in getting our reservation down, so we didn't get the launch edition. Not too much difference. Main things are the speakers a little bit different. This has got Rivian system now as opposed to the Meridian one, and I still think the speaker system is fantastic, so no problems at all with that. And we didn't get the included spare in the trunk, which comes with the launch edition. Other than that, it's pretty much it. There's some other like really small cosmetic changes, but nothing really noticeable. The quad motor version here actually produces 835 horsepower, which is a ton, and you feel it here. I love having it. I don't think it's at all necessary. The dual motor one will get you around just fine, so if you're kind of cross shopping them, you might be okay, like saving some money there. If you can, try to maybe test drive both of them together, just so you can see how much of a difference is, but honestly I don't think it's a massive one. But there are times that I like having the quad motor and just as much power as it produces available, especially like when you're merging onto the highway, or the times that we've been driving in the snow and stuff like that. It's been nice to have. This is a 129 kilowatt hour battery, which is quite big. This is not the most efficient EV out there for sure. For comparison's sake, our Tesla Model Y gets somewhere between like 3 to 5 miles per kilowatt hour. This gets like 2 to 2.5, maybe 3 if we're like really doing our best. And that's even with conserve mode, which extends the range and effectively shuts off the back two motors and just makes it front wheel drive when you're cruising on the highway. So that 129 kilowatt hour battery, the downside of it is it takes a while to charge that up to full. Charging curve on this has been pretty decent. We usually peak out around like 215 to 217 kilowatts. Like down kind of in the lower end of the battery range, so like maybe 20% to about 40 or so, and then it kind of slowly plateaus down from there. It actually holds above 100, actually like above 150, up over 60%, and then it's once you get to around like 75 to 80%, it really kind of falls off another cliff. So for the most part, like when we're doing road trips and stuff, it's been fine because we typically arrive, around like 10% or so remaining, charge up to like no more than 75, 80% and continue on our way. It actually does pretty well through that. Like those stops are usually around like 30 to 45 minutes, kind of depending on how full we're charging and how fast the charger is. And that actually usually works out pretty well because we're typically running into, a restroom for the kids or ourselves, or grabbing coffee or getting food, and we need that much time anyway. So never really been an issue for us. And it's only really even a consideration when you're doing road trips, because in our day-to-day driving, we just charge this in our garage off of our NEMA 1450 outlet at 240 volts. And actually, it's a little bit less than that, but 240 volt outlet. The included mobile EVSE wall connector is only 32 amps, so it does charge a little bit more slowly than if you did like a wall-mounted one that might be up to I think this can do 48 amps, but if you're using a plug, you can only go up to 40, because at least on a 50 amp fuse box, which or outlet, which is what we've got. At least it usually takes almost fully overnight to get like a deep charge on here. But we do that every day, and it hasn't been any issue at all for us in terms of range or anything like that. So we've been driving this car around quite a lot. We're at 5,000 miles already. We've had the car for about 3 months now. We got it right after Thanksgiving, and we just love it. I mean, this has become our family, all 5 family members together car. We take this for pretty much every trip that we do in the weekends. I'm taking it right now because I've got the option to, and pretty much we fight for this car over our Model Y. Nothing like super wrong with the Model Y, it's just this is a lot more comfortable, feels nicer. I like the way it drives, it's a lot more quiet, and it's just like more fun, and I enjoy being out in it. All right, dear, as the primary driver of the Rivian, since you're driving it every day in your commute, and have driven it, I would definitely say more miles than me, right? How are you feeling with it now, a couple of months into ownership and several thousand miles in?
Is it several thousand miles?
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know, like what specifically?
Fantastic. How does it compare to the other vehicles that we've had, especially the other SUVs that you've had for the last like 5 cars now?
Well, okay, so size-wise, like I'm still getting used to it. It feels like a beast to me on the road.
It feels quiet, right? Like on the highway and stuff, it's fine, but
even
around like our house and stuff, I feel like it's just taking up the whole lane.
Well, on the Garden State Parkway, I feel like if I'm not on the, I like to be in the edge lane just so I can have a little bit of the shoulder just in case. Yeah. Because I feel wide. I've gotten a little bit more comfortable as far as like pulling into parking spots with it. But I still will prefer to seek out a spot that either has like the double lines on the side. I enjoy the quality of the ride. Like I like being in the car. I don't enjoy it right now with the dogs stinking it up.
Yeah. It is super comfortable, right? Both the ride and just like the seats and everything.
Yeah.
It's not bad to be in here for a long road trip.
No. I'm still getting used to how high it is. Even when it lowers, I have to hop out. So days when I decide to wear a dress or a skirt to work are always interesting. I'm still getting used to that. Like, I love the frunk in it even more than the frunk in the Tesla, just because I can open it from the outside and put stuff in.
Yeah.
In fact, all the stuff for our trip today is in the front and not in the trunk because it doesn't have to roll around as much.
Yeah. I love the front, like the power close part of it makes it more useful, but you're right, like having the button on the outside is a big difference too, instead of having to do it on the screen like in the Tesla.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love the driving in here, just the feel that it's got, the power you've got available. I keep it in all-purpose mode most of the time, which is kind of the recommendation. You can switch to conserve mode, which like I mentioned goes down to just using the front 2 motors to pull you. But the downside of that is it can wear those motors a little bit faster over the lifetime of the car, and it can also wear out those front tires a little bit more. So generally, trying not to keep it in conserve mode unless like we're really trying to stretch out range for a road trip. And all-purpose mode is great. You have full power available to all 4 motors, and it just produces a ton of power. There's also sport mode, which I only ever really use like if I'm trying to give the kids like a thrill ride, basically. But that is just lightning fast, and probably faster than anybody needs to drive. The acceleration in here is just absolutely phenomenal. I also just love like the driving feel, the handling. This is not meant to be like a performance vehicle, but It almost kind of, you know, acts a little bit as one. It's definitely large. You feel the width of it, especially. Sometimes it's like actually kind of hard to keep it in the lane. Oh, and the lane keep thing, like basically the warning, lane departure warning. You can have it like beep at you. It'll also show like a yellow and red line on the display here. And it'll even like nudge you back into the lane. It is very aggressive, and there are a lot of roads around us where it actually like kind of feels like you're almost fighting against it sometimes. So there are times that I turn that off, but usually on a road trip we keep it on. But it's definitely a large vehicle, and you kind of feel that when you're driving. I would describe kind of the driving dynamics and feel as a bit like wafty almost. It's not like you know, you're not like boating up and down or something like that, but it definitely does like smooth out the road and smooth out just sort of like the dips and bumps and everything, to the point where it kind of feels like floaty almost. Not in a bad way, like not floaty disconnected from the road, but just floaty in terms of the way it handles over the road. A lot of that is down to the air suspension that's in here. So this has got a full-on air suspension. It's actually, from what I've heard, one of the absolute best in the industry, especially like at this price range. And it's actually the first vehicle I've ever owned that has air suspension. And with that is just the best driving feel I've ever had in a car. So the way that it works is like it'll actually, you know, it's got an air compressor, and it'll actually air up and air down the suspension in here. You have the option to either leave it on auto or to set it to high standard or low ride height, so you can control all of that. It's also got a nice little trick where it'll kneel down when you park it to make it easier to get in and out, which is quite cool, and then air back up once you get in. So that's awesome. It's really good for off-roading, and I find it just great for like ride comfort as well. So most of the time we just keep it in the standard suspension. It'll actually lower down when you're over a certain speed anyway to help improve efficiency and the aerodynamics. But I find it to be super comfortable. And the best part of it is kind of translates a little bit to like performance feel, where like when you take a turn fairly aggressively, it will, because of that air suspension, you really don't feel much like body roll at all. So despite the weight and size of this, you're not having that like SUV feel where it feels like it's gonna, you know, sort of like tip over. Part of that's probably down to like most of the weight in here being in the batteries underneath you, but I just love how it feels going around turns. You can take them a little bit more aggressively than you might think, or that you might be used to in another SUV, especially like the ones that we had before. What about the drive of it?
The drive of it is great. I love the distance that our children are in from us in this car, especially with Whiny back there. It kind of muffles his voice. I love how quiet it is. Like, it's an incredibly quiet ride. Like, you don't hear anything happening around you. And the quality of the drive is, like, good, too. I mean, I can't knock the Buick. Like, the Buick felt pretty luxurious as a drive, too, but it's obviously different between, like, a nice car and an EV. It feels different. I love that stuff doesn't roll around like crazy in here when you turn.
Well, the car itself like stays very level because of the air suspension. So stuff doesn't fly around even when you corner hard.
I am nervous to corner. Like, I know this car can't flip over, but the size of it makes me very nervous to corner hard.
But I feel like the way that the handling the suspension are like doesn't feel like you're gonna tip over or something.
No, it feels very stable. We haven't had any inclement weather, so I haven't had a chance to drive it in inclement weather. So I don't.
It was good in the snow.
When did you drive it in the snow?
When we had snow. And in Vermont.
Oh, and like,
and what about like the software and stuff inside?
It's good. I mean, we're not talking about stuff, but like, there's things that are super glitchy, like the I don't want to say her name. The she who shall not be named if you don't want to summon her. She's super glitchy.
In what way?
Like, she's not consistent. Like, a lot of times you have to log in to get it to work again.
Oh, you've been having to do that a lot?
Yeah. Or like, she'll say it can't connect, and then you switch to radio and you're listening to the radio, and all of a sudden she starts playing the song that you asked for 20 minutes ago.
Do you have to do a software set in the car, or does it just come back?
No, it just comes back.
No, that's weird. Okay.
I love that. I have to say, I love having she who shall not be named right now.
Yeah.
To like do voice commands and stuff. I just feel like it's so much more
like it's not like it's a big effort to like push and hold a button like in the Tesla, but like not having to do that, I use it so much more too.
But I also think it's more responsive.
Yeah.
The navigation's fine. I love the heads-up display. I've started using it a lot more, even for navigation stuff.
Just it's not a heads-up display, just the
just the
center
dashboard. Yeah.
Dashboard.
But like you don't have that in a Tesla, and I mean I used to like I like having the speed there too. Actually, now that I notice, you don't see the speed on this screen at all. It's only on that screen.
Yeah.
The navigation's fine. Like I don't. The other day it had like the maps aren't updating as frequently, so like
yeah. Like, just the stuff that makes no sense too. Like right now, it's telling us to turn off at a rest area to get back onto the highway because I think it's like a 1/10 of a mile shorter technically because of the way the road curves. But like, you know,
why?
Yeah, stuff like that makes no sense.
And the points of interest are outdated a little bit.
Yeah.
On some of it. So like with Vermont coming up, I'm glad we had we were able to route plan and like look at stuff, plug share in parallel because just trust I wasn't comfortable just doing what this was, just having this as my only thing.
Yep. Have you used the highway system?
No, I don't like that. I don't do it.
Gotcha.
I don't even do cruise control. Like.
Okay. Cool. Are you still happy with it?
Yes.
Would you have gotten it again?
Yes. Yes. I just wish our children were more careful in it.
It's going to be a problem in any car.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. No, I just love it. It feels like super luxurious inside too. Like every time you come in, it just puts a little. I don't dread getting into the car to drive it.
So the fit and finish in here, I think is probably a question for a lot of people, especially being a newer kind of startup car brand, one that's only been around for a few years and only been shipping to they're delivering vehicles to customers for the last couple. Especially like when you compare with something like a Tesla that was sort of infamous for having some build quality and fit and finish issues early on, especially. I think this is phenomenal. This is put together so well. I haven't been able to find like any uneven panel gaps. There's nothing like shaking or rattling in here other than my coffee cup. We just like everything in here feels super well built, well connected. Quality control is great. We actually, it took us longer to get this vehicle than we were expecting because we initially had a VIN and they let us know that they had to cancel that one because it didn't meet their quality control standards. So they're definitely checking them, and it shows here because everything in here is just really fantastically well put together. We haven't had like anything loose or moving around or anything like that. I know we have only had it 5,000 miles, but that's still quite a lot. And I would think like if something were really messed up, it would have shaken loose by now or would be making a noise or something, and we just haven't had that at all. So they're doing great. It really inspired a lot of confidence also during our visit to the factory, just seeing like all of the automation that they've got in partnership with hand building and checking of things. There's just a lot of really good quality control. They're even like using machines to like check down to the millimeter to make sure that things are built to the right specification and within the tolerances. So quality is just absolutely fantastic in here, and this is like got to be the most solid feeling car that I've ever had. That comes down to like the handling itself and just overall feel here for sure. I think along with that fit and finish, this car is also just like so quiet. A lot of times we actually find like we are driving around in here with the music volume down at like 1 or 2, and you can hear it totally fine. You can carry on a conversation at like normal levels in here quite easily. It gets loud in here when we've got all the kids in here, but what wouldn't? You really don't get very much road noise at all in here. Probably some of that is due to the giant size of the tires. So we've got the 21-inch road tires on here with the aero caps. So that's the standard wheel that you would get. There's an option for a 20-inch all-terrain, which would of course be noisier, but better for off-roading. And then there's a 22-inch sport tire, which I think looks awesome, but it wouldn't handle quite as well, and you lose some range with that. So we've got the standard here, and they are nice and quiet and very comfortable. I think there's also just really good like sealing overall here. We've noticed, especially when we first got the car, we had to get used to how hard you have to kind of slam the door. I think it's because there's actually like such a tight seal around the car. When you've got one last door open and you go to close it, there's sort of like a pressure differential that is created that prevents the door from like closing. So you have to get used to pulling it pretty hard to get it closed. It's not like problematic or something, but just definitely harder than our other vehicles that we've owned. And then like once you're inside here, it's so quiet too. You're not getting a lot of noise from the sunroof, the doors, the windows, anything like that. Really the only thing we get noise from is like the roof racks, and they're easy to clip on and off. So we keep them off, like except for during the winter when we use them for our skis, and it reduces the noise even more. We were so impressed with how quiet it is in here on our drive back from the factory in Illinois when we first picked it up. I also just absolutely love the sound system in here. It is phenomenal. It's got really good like surround sound in here. I think there are 12 or 14 speakers in here, and it just creates a really great sound stage. There are parts of the songs, when we're streaming them on here, that like you don't hear otherwise, like in headphones, and I've never heard in other vehicles, and it just pulls them out so well here. You have a bunch of different options in terms of your music playback. There's of course the radio. You can do Bluetooth phone pairing and play through there. Then there is Spotify app built in, Tidal, and you can just use the built-in voice assistant. It's the Amazon one, whose name I'm not going to say. And you can listen to either Amazon Music or any other music services that you've got connected through that. So we use that quite a bit. I actually find we are using that voice assistant way more in here than we do in any other vehicle. So like our Tesla's got voice commands too, but you have to like press and hold a button. So I pretty much never do that and just use like the on-screen controls much more. Whereas in here, you just say the wake word and it's immediately responsive. Works quite well. It doesn't do like a ton of different things, but for using it for music playback, I find it is quite solid and reliable, and we use that all the time. All right, hello. We are about to head off for a little family ride in the Rivian R1S, and today we've got a bunch of storage options here from a brand new company that I am super excited to share. They're a cool small business that just got started up, and they are EV Adventure Outfitters, and we're gonna check out these bags and get going here. So come along with us. Let's drive. All right, so here is one of the bags. This is the front seat one. We've got this nice little emblem down here for EV Adventure Outfitters. So they just started up, and I learned about them on the Rivian forums, and I'm super excited to take a look at these and share them with you. So these are basically custom designed to fit exactly here in the door pockets of the Rivian, which is awesome. So you can get one for each of the different doors. We've got one here for the front, one for the back, and then this one is a like harder bag that actually is designed to fit exactly where the camp speaker goes. So this one actually is going to be really good for like our cameras and stuff that we keep in here. All right, yeah, so the Rivian, the R1S here, despite being so big inside, really doesn't have like a ton of storage space. So we have no glove box. We have like this space down here, but we've been using this tray down here for storing stuff. And then the main storage spot really is just this like compartment in here, but it's not like huge. And we already are pretty much using that up. But the nice thing here is you have these pockets here on the doors, and these are actually great because they kind of like extend out like this, and you can fit nice big water bottles in there. But I like having this option here with this bag because now we can actually keep some stuff organized in there. So you can see we've got nice zippered outer pocket here, and then this part that is gonna open up all the way and give us a ton of space. And then we've got a nice handle on here for carrying it around, and it is going to fit perfectly in this pocket here. So you can just see like that, and look, you can even do it one-handed. Perfect, so just like that. Then we've got this one, kind of same overall idea here, with the zippered two different compartments here. And that is going to fit nicely here in the back. Like I said, you can get a full set of these for all of the doors if you like, or I like this where we have this on this side, and then on the other side have it open so we can put all of our various water bottles and stuff in there. All right, and then we've got this nice like hard shell one here, which is super durable. I like how it flips open like that, so it's really easy to get stuff in and out. We've got a nice little mesh pocket here, and then like this kind of suede Alcantara-ish material here on the inside. And now this is going to go here. So we've got our camp speaker here, which is a nice Bluetooth speaker. It's actually got like a light on it too, and it's always charging when it's in there. And it goes on. But we have not actually used this at all yet, so and a lot of drivers I don't think are probably going to use it all that often. So Rivian was supposed to like have a whole bunch of different accessories that would fit in there, but that hasn't really materialized yet, but there are some rumors of other ones. But for now, at least, we've got this one, which will fit perfectly in here, and this gives us some nice storage space in there. So now we've got that option, and we can use the handle to get it in and out easily, and voila. I like being able to just keep that in there, and then we got some additional storage space. It's basically like doubling how much space we have on the little compartment here. All right, and I just love that this company, you know, it's a nice new small business. It's always good to support them. They are US based, and they're basically other EV adventure enthusiasts. So definitely give them some love and help support them as well. If you're interested in getting any or all of these, you'll find the link down in the description below, and make sure to use those to help support the channel and support them as well. So on the inside here, this is super comfortable vehicle. We've spent a lot of hours on long road trips here. Our drive back from Illinois, we did that in like basically 36 hours, and with like a 7-hour stop at a hotel overnight. So lots of driving from all of that, and our Vermont trips, you know, have also been like multi-hour ones, and for the majority of the day, and we've always been super comfortable here. These seats I find to be like, they're firm but very comfortable. They're not hard like I've heard some people say, and they've got like great back support, good bolstering. They are like ventilated, which is great, and I have no fatigue when I'm in here driving. I think a big part of it is just like how comfortable the ride is. So you're not bouncing around, your spine's not getting shaken in here, even going over these horrible bumps in New Jersey like that. It just smooths everything out, and you're also not being subjected to the noise of things rattling and shaking as you go over it. So it makes it so pleasant in here, and like relaxing. We also use the driver assist quite a bit on those drives too, which just reduces fatigue. And I've never had like a problem driving at the end of even those super long drives. I haven't felt like I needed a huge rest. I could have kept driving it more if I needed to. So this is absolutely a phenomenal road tripper, and just super comfortable on the inside. Obviously the space is fantastic too. There's a ton of room in here, which is a big part of what led us to getting this. You know, we wanted a 3-row SUV that was electric for our family. We've got 3 kids and a dog, and we're also often bringing around, you know, ski stuff or luggage, or, you know, just other things for our adventures, and this goes perfectly with that. So we've got tons of room in the trunk. The front itself is pretty large and very usable. It's powered up and down, which I think is great. You can open it and close it from outside, which you can't do in a lot of other EVs. So we actually use it a tremendous amount, and that helps us keep, you know, stuff out of the cabin here while still being locked and protected. And then on the inside here, you know, we're like nice and far away from each other, which is also a huge benefit. It doesn't feel like we're on top of each other. The kids are, you know, back far enough that like when they're yelling for things, it's not right in my ear. And it also has enough room between all of them that they're not just in each other's space fighting and bickering all the time too, which is a huge benefit. So I just love that, and it's a big reason that we take this car 90% of the time now. So one of the things here in Rivian is, you know, they have kind of followed Tesla's lead here. They're definitely like a software-first company rather than being like a legacy manufacturer that tacks software on afterward. And with that, it means, you know, they have taken a lot of time and effort to develop their own software for this, which is custom, which does have advantages, but also some disadvantages. So I'll start with the disadvantages. The main ones are just like availability of some things that you might want. So for example, this doesn't have like great integration with hands-free stuff right now. So you can make calls, but you can't receive your text messages on here. It doesn't read them out to you or anything like it does in the Tesla. You can't respond. So I don't like that, and I find that to be a little bit dangerous. But you know, one of the big advantages with software driven stuff like this is they can always just add that in an update, and they've said that it's on their roadmap. I expect we'll probably get it, you know, fairly soon. We also don't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in here. That has been really divisive, I know, to a lot of people, and people say that that's a reason they would never get the vehicle. I wish that we had that. It'd be great. Like, I think it solves some of the problems that you've got here. Like, obviously, you'd be able to do text messaging a bit more easily. You'd also have access to more like media playback and streaming. You would be able to use like plug share and a better route planner, which would be great. But I find like I don't really need it here. I miss it a lot in the Tesla, but either I've gotten used to it, so I don't really notice it here, or like some of this stuff is actually better to the degree that I really don't find we're missing much functionality here. So I am not heartbroken that they don't have that. However, I do wish that they would add other music providers in here. We use Apple Music. It'd be great to have that. Spotify is fine on here, but we don't have a paid membership for that, so I use it periodically, but then you're subjected to ads just nonstop, which is not great. Amazon Music is okay, and like that's been sort of filling the void, but I don't want to pay for multiple providers, so it'd be nice to just be able to use my Apple Music one in here like I do in our Tesla. I also wish like we could get our podcast app and things like that in here. It'd be cool to be able to like install other apps too and use plug share for finding chargers. The navigation here is actually it's pretty good. The navigation itself, we haven't had like major problems, but it just does some little weird stuff sometimes. Like it has like asked us to, or told us to go off of the highway to like a rest stop area just to come back on the highway. There was a time where on our recent Vermont trip where like it told us to do this big loop around to get onto a road where we could just turn onto it. So there's things like that, and it, like you feel every once in a while like they haven't updated the maps, and some stuff is stale on here, and there's just like some bugs that they should tweak out there. But for the most part, like 95% of the time, we haven't had any issue with it, and the route planning has been quite good. The route planning for charging, hit or miss. Like I find it's good, but not good enough that I 100% trust it to not like look myself. There are definitely some chargers that don't show up in here. Some of it I think is just newer ones becoming available and not immediately showing up on here. Notice a bunch of the Evolve New York ones, which are like the NEVI funded state installed chargers in New York that are popping up everywhere now, don't really show up on here very quickly, and so like I generally have to look for those myself. So like it does a good job with kind of giving you a base route, and then I generally like will look to see if there's something that can be a little bit more optimal for us, as a sort of we're on the route itself. But it works well enough that like I trust it for most of our trips, and like if I didn't have those other things available, or if I just like didn't have the time to kind of do my own route planning, it would get you there. I wouldn't worry about it like leaving you stranded or anything like that. Just you may not have like the most perfect optimal route. The software in here is super snappy and responsive. Never have any problems with lag. You can like scroll through the map super quickly and everything. No real problems with that at all. Definitely seems like they have built in enough processing compute power headroom in here that this is going to work for a while. We'll have to see like how Rivian does over the long term with supporting older vehicles, but I expect that we'll probably see some pretty good things there, just based off the fact that like everything they've built so far has received every update. They seem to be kind of following Tesla's lead there, and I expect that things will be supported for a long time. You're paying a premium for this vehicle, and their customer service is attentiveness is pretty good. So I expect that you're not going to have to worry about getting support and features, at least for like a decade or so of owning the car. I also like that they have like regularly sent over-the-air updates to this. So every month we kind of get like a feature drop with some new things. So far they've improved the usability and availability of the highway assist, which is like the it's not hands-free, but the driver assistance system, where it'll do lane keeping for you on mapped highways. So they've added more highways to that. It's available in more places now, which is great. They have also added like really great usability features to it, like being able to do a lane change yourself while staying on the system without having it disengage and having to re-engage it again. So that is really nice, and I use that a ton now, and I find it to actually be like more usable than Tesla's autopilot as a result of that. Tesla's autopilot, of course, you can use on like every road, but this one on the highways and stuff is great because, especially around here, like where you have traffic congestion so often, you're often like kind of weaving in and out of lanes, and it's great to like not have to just constantly be tapping the stalk to re-engage the system. So that is really nice. They have also added a bunch of improvements here, like we have quick control settings, which is nice here. It automatically pops up like when you go into park, and you have access to like open the frunk and the trunk, charge port door and things like that. Just like nice little usability there. Shows they're listening to customer feedback and regularly adding things. They also added a cool like drive mode display where you can see a whole bunch of nerdy stats around like the temperature of each individual motor, the battery temperature. You can see like your max and min elevation as well as your current elevation, and cool stuff like that. So just cool to see all of that, and I like that they're regularly adding these updates and improving the software here. So things keep getting better over time. They have also been very communicative about their roadmap and some of the features that they're going to be adding. They've talked a lot about adding entertainment options in here, like video playback, and you can already see like they're starting to kind of build some of the capacity for that. They've added like a couple of videos in here now that you can watch. They're like little some silly kind of promotional ones, but it just shows like they've already got the capabilities in there in the foundation for it. So I think we'll probably see music streaming pretty soon this year. They're even adding like additional audio options, like Sirius is coming at some point this year too. The Rivian app on the phone is also pretty good. So I have an iPhone, and they just added like widgets to it, which are great. I find it actually like more reliable and usable than the Tesla ones too. So it's actually found its way into my home screen. You can see like the battery state of charge, and you even have access to quick controls there for locking and unlocking and venting the windows and things like that. So that's really cool to see. The app seems to be really reliable as a phone key. I've never like come up to the car and not had it unlock for me. The only thing is it's like kind of a little bit aggressive with it. So when the car unlocks, the mirrors fold out, the handles pop out and everything. And like anytime you kind of walk within like 100 feet of the car, including like in the house or upstairs and stuff, you can hear it like locking and unlocking. There is a setting to turn that off like at a location like your house, which I should just do, but anyway, I think it's fine. It's just that you can show it's working a lot of the times. So that could be a minor annoyance and inconvenience to people. I definitely still recommend bringing the key fob and or like the little key card, just in case of an emergency or like your phone runs out of power or something. I've had to use it once because of that when my phone ran out skiing. But it works quite well and reliably. The app itself is good. It's been getting better and better over time. They added the ability to like plan out your route. Rivian also built a better route planner, which is my favorite app for doing like EV charging route planning, and has integrated that into their app and into the car here, which is actually really cool. Like it just shows that they are again like looking for ways to constantly improve things. It's still not perfect, but and like there are things that a better route planner I think does better. And gives you more options on, but at least like a lot of the primary features have found their way into both the car and the app. You can do like planning in the app and then send it to the vehicle. You can see, of course, like your state of charge. You can keep an eye on the charging as it's charging, and a bunch of like key features like that, which are great. You can see the location of the vehicle and that stuff. So it'd be great to see them add like a couple of other things that Tesla does, like being able to check in on the cameras in the car, just to keep an eye on it. Although of course that would come with like increased battery drain. But stuff for them to add in the future. But overall, I think it's got all of the features I would want, and works reliably. It's snappy, intuitive, all of that. So I'm quite happy with it. One of the things that hasn't been so great, and that I like basically had to solve with an accessory, is the wireless phone charging pad here. So you see a lot of people complaining about this. Basically, there is a big wireless phone charging pad here in the center console. Space for two phones here, and it works fine. The problem is like there's nothing to keep your phone in place here, so like you'll get it kind of lined up on there. It's also like a little bit hard to figure out exactly where you need to put it, so you got to do this like sort of game where you shift it around to find where it's actually charging, but then like once you start driving around, it slides off of there and stops charging. So I got this accessory that has a MagSafe compatible charging component here, and it plugs into the USB port, so it just sits over here. So that works a lot better, because then your phone just like locks into it and doesn't move around. But like the standard one here definitely doesn't work great. Sounds like they are working on changing that. They again have heard all of the feedback there, and they've mentioned it in a couple of update calls. So I think they're working on that, but just something to be aware of right now that doesn't work as well as you would like. One of the things I really like about Rivian is just this adventure lifestyle branding kind of thing. So like you see everywhere they've got there's even like a little plaque on here that says what does it say? Adventure is forever. Like keep the adventure going in places. You know, it's like this car is meant for people to go, you know, do like their weekend warrior kind of adventure stuff. It is quite good at off-roading. I haven't done that yet, but I'm hoping to do some maybe this summer. You know, we've taken this off the beaten path, like through some, you know, snow and gravel and stuff, which is probably the most that most people are going to ever do with this. And it's done really well. It's handled amazing in the snow. It's just very confidence inspiring, even in like several inches of, you know, kind of mixed snow and ice. Don't have any issue at all with traction. And this thing just like plowed through it. I was sort of the limiting factor in confidence versus the vehicle there. Like, I just didn't want to go any faster. But the car itself was doing great there. So, you know, you've got all of that. Like, you've got this, you know, kind of rugged but nice, luxurious materials in here. We've got like wood paneling and everything. I think it looks amazing. It makes me want to go take it, you know, camping and off-roading and everything. I just think that's awesome. And like, it is definitely appealing to a segment that I think, you know, really has a lot of interest, like in this sort of adventure lifestyle thing. Like I call it, you know, the LL Bean in Patagonia and Cotopaxi crowd. It's the people that like buy that stuff so that they can wear it on a daily basis, and they'll take it out, you know, hiking or whatever, you know, maybe once a month or something like that. Kind of same thing for this. It's nice to know that you have the capability, even if you never really use it. And I think that it just brings a lot of attention to the brand and makes it appealing to a lot of people. That's going to carry over into their other vehicles too. But you really just see a lot of it here, and it's not all just branding. Like, the capabilities actually match it. I also just love like some of the features that they've added for camping here. You can have the vehicle self-level, like if you're, you know, on a track where the vehicle is slanted, it'll actually use the air suspension to level it out so that you'll be more comfortable sleeping in here, or, you know, doing whatever you've got to do. You've got outlets in the back that you can use for like a portable, you know, stove or your camping accessories. You have a flashlight built into the door. There's a camp speaker that has a lantern and a Bluetooth speaker in it. You've got like the lift gate that you can sort of, you know, tailgate off of. The front that you can store all of your things in. And then it's got camp mode itself, where you can actually use the power, the climate control, and everything in here. You can use the outside lights to help light your camping. So just awesome for that. Unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to do like a legitimate camping yet, but we're definitely going to do that this summer or fall. We love doing that as a family, and this is certainly going to replace the Model Y for doing so. So I think it's great that they've also added some features to make camping life great as well. Another big advantage here, like this isn't really part of owning the car, but in the purchasing process, I just thought it was great. Like, I love this new model of direct-to-consumer, you know, ordering online, working through the entire process online, and like basically just picking up your car, not having to go through all of the hassle of a dealership and, you know, negotiations and haggling and just the headache that comes with it. The delivery experience for us was, you know, not as good as I would have liked. You can go back and find my videos like ranting on that. But that really came down to, I think, a lot of specifics to like our use case, just the, you know, the desire that I had to get this car as soon as possible. I just think like communication could have definitely been better. But overall, the process was pretty good. You know, you buy online, you do all of the paperwork and stuff there. Especially now, like the wait times have come down so much. Basically, you can go put your deposit down, and they'll match you to a car like almost right away, unless you're super specific about like a rare combination of interior and color options and the wheels and things like that. But like if you're kind of just looking for you know, like the one of the more available options here, you might be able to get a vehicle in like a week or two. And, you know, that just like streamlines things a lot more. You don't have to, you know, go through the guide process as much like we did. I think that that's great. I'd love to see more manufacturers moving to that model. I hate dealing with dealerships, especially lately. Like, I've been in touch with some about other vehicles, and it's just been an absolute nightmare. So I love this direct-to-consumer model, and I think purchasing here really is pretty smooth. So then in terms of like the charging and network availability here, you know, it's okay. It is not great. It is not as good as Tesla for sure. Like, that is the big advantage with a Tesla. You have the supercharging network. It is just so available, reliable. You'll find it everywhere. Like, you don't even have to think about it or plan for it, which is great. Here you got to do a little bit more work. It's getting better, like especially around us in the Northeast. There are chargers available in a lot of places, especially along like the major routes. Like, we're just finding that they're popping up everywhere in New York. New Jersey, we've got, you know, more and more of them coming too. Hopefully we'll get, you know, more state-sponsored ones with the NEVI funding. But already, like, there are quite a lot along the major highway routes and at rest stops and everything. So you're not going to like be in a situation where you're just going to be totally out of luck with a charger. It really may just be more like difficulty in finding one, or kind of like being able to like maximize charging speed and everything. So and I find like the navigation could do a little bit better job of showing you all the ones that actually are available. But overall, like, the routing itself is pretty good. Like I said, we've never been in a situation where like we were, you know, super stressed about finding a charger, like running out or anything like that. It's really more just the case that, like, you know, you've got to, like, you know, plan ahead a little bit, use the map and the tools to make sure that you're gonna be able to get to one. But you know, it's really not like as stressful or problematic as I think a lot of people make it out to be. It'll be great. You know, Rivian is going to get access to the Tesla supercharging network. We're going to get an adapter shipped to us at some point to make that possible, and to just use all of the NACS plugs, whether they're Tesla ones or others that are moving to it in the future. So you know, we're set up for the future for sure. That's going to make things a lot easier, a little bit more you know, hassle-free, I think. But like, you know, the infrastructure is growing. It still, I think, needs to catch up a little bit more. We haven't been in situations like where we've been, you know, in a major problem where like all of the chargers are down or they're all taken or anything like that. Actually, the only time that's happened is at the Tesla charger in Malta, New York, that had a Magic Dock, and that was being taken up by a ton of Teslas, a Lyric, and 2 other Rivians. And we would have had to wait for quite a while there, but we still could have made it work. But instead, we had other options where we could go to a CCS EVgo charger nearby, and we had no problem there. There was no wait. We got a charger right away, and we charged nice and fast. So overall, like, things have been fine. I wouldn't even like read too much into that situation. It was President's Day weekend, you know, long weekend with a lot of travel and everything. So you know, it was what it was, and for whatever reason, there were a ton of people at that charger, but there were like other options right around, so it wasn't a big deal. And like, you know, despite the reputation that Electrify America and some of the other like CCS charging networks have, you know, we've been in places where one of the chargers isn't working, or, you know, a couple are taken, but we've never had to wait for one, and we've never been in a situation where like there wasn't one that was working. So it's been fine. I just think it could be better, and you know, the more it grows, the less we're gonna like be worried about it going forward too. One of the things that I love in the Rivian, and I love about the approach, is that they're not afraid to put sensors in things. You know, Tesla, for what it's worth, has been removing sensors. You know, they're moving to more like vision-based systems and more like you know, compute-based approaches, kind of utilizing like their AI and stuff to do like park distance sensing and things like that. And I just don't think that it's there yet. This is great. It's got ultrasonic sensors, so I know exactly how far I am from things when I'm parking, which is great because it's a big vehicle and it's a high one. So sometimes it's hard to see like if something is, you know, right at the bumper in the front or the back, or like right along the mirrors. And then like you've also got cameras everywhere. There's a 360-degree view. I have a camera like underneath us, which is, you know, designed to be used for off-roading, but it's actually great in our garage too. And I just love that you have all of that. We've got like cross-traffic alerts here, which is great. Like when we're pulling out in daycare, a lot of times like people are kind of, you know, flying by us there. So you know, Rivian is like using all of the technology that's available and not afraid to like add sensors and things here, even if they have some cost associated with them. So that is phenomenal. Camera is like an absolute lifesaver in here. I use it every single day when we pull into and out of the garage. I use it a lot like backing out of spaces and just making sure like I'm in spaces. So that gets a ton of use. I love Gear Guard also, which is like sort of their version of Sentry Mode, you know, where it will use the cameras to detect if you know, and keep your car safe, like if there's anybody, you know, approaching it or anything like that, and it'll save clips of that. You know, if anybody is like super close to the vehicle or like bumps into it, you know, if a shopping cart hits it or somebody hits you and runs, you'll have a recording of all of that, which is great. Same thing for like dash cam here. I can save clips too. We've got like a USB drive in here, and you know, that's just great kind of peace of mind to know that we will have records of those things if there is any such issue like that. So yeah, overall, I just absolutely love this vehicle. Without a doubt, it is the best vehicle that we've ever owned. It's the priciest one for sure too, but with that you just get an absolute lot in here. It is a fantastic feeling car. We love coming in here. We've got so much space in here. It's just like the perfect family vehicle for us. Like I said, we fight about using it all the time because everyone loves it so much. The kids always want to go in here, you know, for all of our drives, whether it's just like around the corner to our daycare or, you know, on a several 100-mile road trip. So this has just rapidly become our go-to and a fantastic vehicle for us. So I cannot recommend this highly enough. If you, I highly recommend it if you've got the means. It's you know, it's going to be certainly out of a lot of people's price range, which is why it's great that they'll have the R2 coming soon, which is still not like a, you know, mass market car, but it's gonna be a lot more affordable, you know, probably in like the 40, 50, maybe 60, depending sort of on the options and the trim levels and everything, you know, $1,000 vehicle. So that'll bring Rivian a little bit more to people that, you know, kind of looking in those ranges and cross-shopping against maybe smaller SUVs there. But I just absolutely love this. This has been perfect for us. It is absolutely my favorite vehicle and has become the benchmark that I compare everything else to now. Driving it is just phenomenal. I look forward to getting into here. I have a ton of fun in here. Like I said, it is, you know, it's a big vehicle. It's great for off-roading, but like it's also just fun for throwing around corners and the twisties. So I have a blast driving this thing around and absolutely love it. No regrets at all about this. I'm so glad we got it. I wish we'd been able to get it even faster, but hey, now that we do, I think we're going to be sticking with this for a long time. And probably it's convinced me that our Tesla is going to get replaced with R2, depending on exactly what that ends up being. So we'll find out when that launch comes. But yeah, I love this vehicle. Let me know any questions that you've got about it, anything that I didn't cover. I tried to take as much as I could from questions and comments that I've had on other videos before, on some of the forums, you know, places like Threads even, where I've seen some questions and stuff. So hopefully I covered pretty much all the bases. I know it's a little bit long video, so thanks for sticking through it for me. But let me know what else you want to know about it, and we'll certainly do a follow-up, a little bit longer, you know, term ownership, probably updates with this. So far, like no, you know, maintenance or anything like that. The only thing I've had to do is put some windshield washer fluid in here because we were going through it like crazy with all the salt on the roads. But you know, nothing beyond that. And the only like maintenance we'll have coming up is just like checking the tires in a few thousand more miles, maybe doing a rotation. But I'm not noticing like any considerable wear or anything like that yet. So yeah, just big advantages here. No real like maintenance costs here either. So you know, we're already kind of saving versus a gas car there. All right, well, with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this interesting and useful. So please do like and subscribe. With that, we'll see you out there on the road.